Today I'm going to be talking about sturgeons. This picture in the front is a little misleading because I'm specifically talking about European sturgeons. Um, some basic taxonomy: phylum Chordata, subphylum Vertebrata, infraphylum Gnathostomata, and the species specifically I'm talking about is Accipenser styrio, which is the European sturgeon. Some basics about sturgeons: there's 27 species in the family, 23 of which are on the brink of extinction. They're found in a whole bunch of different oceans, but the European ones are found from Scandinavia all the way to the Mediterranean. And in the summer months, they migrate to the rivers of Russia and Eastern Europe. And then also there are freshwater ones found in North America, as there are in China and many other places. Some basic information about the fish specifically is they have bony plates on their head, called scutes, like a turtle shell. Um, they also have 5 rows of the scutes that go down their back. They have a heterocercal tail, no teeth, and 4 barbules that look like whiskers. Why are the populations declining? Well, a whole bunch of reasons: overfishing, poaching, water pollution, damming, habitat destruction. Um, it's kind of endless. Um, but in the last century, over 70% of the population has declined. Um, Overfishing stems from the desire for caviar, which is what sturgeon produce. It's one of the most expensive animal products in the world. Um, and there are crime organizations and black markets specifically for caviar, which doesn't necessarily lead to very ethical fishing, if you will. Um, the poachers just cut them, gut them, take the caviar, chuck them in the water, which definitely does not help their populations. Um, and then also, sturgeons don't reach sexual maturity until they're at least 6 years old, but it can take as long as 25 years because they live to be 60 to 100, sometimes even older, but that's the average. Habitat loss, also a problem. Rivers that have been diverted to cities or factories for water um, breaks up their pathways for spawning. And then dams also do the same thing. They break up their usual pathways that they use for spawning, or force them to spawn in unsuitable areas or not at all. Pollution. I found some interesting studies about pollution and their effect on sturgeons. Um, the picture of the little baby sturgeons shows how pollution in the water column can cause egg malformations, which leads to improper development. So some of these fish obviously have um, bone malformities, and then some of them also were born without eyes, which again, not great for the population. And then microplastics in the water column were found in clams, which is a specific food of the sturgeon. And in the study, they actually intentionally introduced microplastics into the water column to see how it would affect them, and it turns out that it affects them. So the microplastics in the clams get eaten, and the sturgeons eat them, and it damages their tissue and it damages their organs. What can we do to help stop illegal fishing? Long shot, probably won't happen, but organizations like the WWF are working to inform and train law enforcement so they can better handle illegal fishing and know how to catch it in the act and prevent it from happening. And then habitat restoration and protection, both important. A lot of their habitats are being decimated or polluted, so restoring and protecting obviously would help. Increase in data monitoring so we can understand how habitat loss and illegal fishing are affecting their populations and work to better solve those problems. I personally think that legislation that prohibits building dams would be helpful for sturgeons because it is feasible and would give them access to their regular spawning routines, and it also would help other populations, other fish populations, other like stream populations just in general. So I think that's how I would go about it. But yeah, there's a bunch of organizations trying to help sturgeon populations because they are so close to extinction and because they do have such desirable um, products. And there are ethical fisheries that are producing caviar without ruining populations, and that's also a good option. Um, that's about all for this. Thanks for watching. This is my works cited. Super interesting. Actually, I say that as a joke, but the two scientific journals are actually really cool. So